Okay, so this is the Raspad 3, which is a tablet made for Raspberry Pi 4, and I've already done a video on it with the Raspberry Pi 5 inside, but this is a significant update because I've got KDE Plasma Mobile, and it actually is a really good Linux operating system for a tablet, very functional and much improved. But let's have a look inside to see what I've changed there. So I've got no screws inside it because I've been messing about with it. Let's just remove the keyboard and also the SD card, because as you can see, remove SD card because it will pull it apart. So let's flip that off. So I've now plugged in the second HDMI because this tablet actually has an HDMI output as well, so you can use dual monitors, which I haven't tried yet, but I'll give that a go. But I've also added the official Raspberry Pi cooler, which is a temperature controlled cooler. So this fan only comes on when it needs to, and it hasn't come on yet, but I'm sure if I keep using it, it's obviously going to come on. But it'll also come on at a very low speed, so nice and quiet. So let's pop this back on and just flip that over. This is a screen protector I put on while I'm laying it down flat. Pop my SD card in. Others have mentioned in the comments that if you have a little USB drive inside, then you can run a system on the USB drive, and then when you want to use the SD card, you just pop an SD card in and you can switch operating systems. Pop in my little keyboard, because at the moment, when I start it up by pressing and holding the power button, so it boots up as normal. You might have heard the fan come on then just on the start up. But then I can't get past this bit because the keyboard doesn't come up. So if I grab this and just start typing the password, you can see I'm in fairly quickly. And if I swipe over, you can see that it gives me all apps, and swipe up and you can see whatever else is there. If you launch an app, so say I launch Discover, so you can see it comes up full screen here. If I press the square, you can see that I can swipe it away or I can go back into it. And if I press the plasma button, that clears the desktop, I guess, and then you pull across and then you would launch something else. So say File Manager. You don't have to have it full screen, you can have it windowed. And you can see I can move it around here, so I can have multiple things on that screen. Let's launch something else, so say for instance Raspberry Pi Imager. And then if I press the square, I can switch between all the open apps and go back in between them. And that works really cool. And if I want to say close down an app, I can just swipe it away. And as you can see, there's a close all option here. Confirm close all, and then that just goes back to the desktop and we're back again. And if I swipe down from the top here, I've got all sorts of settings and power. I've got a screen recording function built into here as well, which is cool. So if I went for say settings, it's running off Wi-Fi at the moment. I've got all these different modes in here. The resolution looks a bit funny on the background, on the wallpaper. I haven't really played around with that yet. I'm not sure what, well, let's have a look at what resolution it is using. So if I swipe down and go to settings and then look for display. So it says 12, yeah, that's the right resolution. Definitely the X is very small, but obviously this is running proper desktop apps. So the fact that you can just press the square and then swipe things away, I think works well enough. The great thing about it, which you don't get on any other tablet, I guess unless you say a Windows tablet, is you get a full desktop. I was looking at touchscreen games to see what was on there. I'm not sure what sort of thing's on here. So I can still use window snapping on this operating system. So if I go up to the top, I can snap it as full screen. I'm not sure what I'm accepting here. So let's see if this touchscreen game works. 2-player games. As you can hear, the sound is working. What do I have to do? So it looks, oh, okay, so it looks like I was supposed to be holding here. Is that it? Just a single touch, maybe? Oh dear. But you can see it's working, it's nice and responsive. This is quite cool actually, although I'm terrible at it. Right, one more, let's get it this time. Oh yeah. And then if I want to come out of that, I guess if I swipe down maybe, or swipe up. No, I don't know how to come out of that. So I can swipe down here to get these settings. I don't actually know how to exit this. What do we reckon? Oh, there's a pause here. There's a little hamburger menu. Can I go back from here? Doesn't look like it. Let's try pressing escape on the keyboard. Yeah, so I'm back out. I did actually put a touchscreen game on here. So if I go, yeah, this one here, Hexalate. And what I think you've got to do is get it that everything matches up. So the way I would do it is, you can see the one at the moment is got pink at the top. I'd use this one with pink at the bottom. Then I'd look for one with blue on the vertical, and there's none of those. So I'd maybe swap it out with something else. And that also is blue on the vertical. So let's try yellow at the top. And that one would go in with that. And then we look for one with green at the top. Then we look for one with purple on this angle, which there is none. So you just keep trying it. But as you can see, the touchscreen on it works absolutely fine. This is a Linux game. Oh, I didn't realize you could twist them around. So that's the other way of doing it. So red, so blue. So if I do that and then I twist the blue around, that matches up, that matches up. That one doesn't match up. Red, pink, blue. Quite a relaxing thing to play. Anyway, let's quit out of that as well. And what else have we got? So things like htop to see, you know, what's running and all the cores and everything. The fan still isn't on, so I've been playing those games. I mean, obviously nothing intensive, but it's definitely still working fine with the passive cooling. I suppose I could put a game on there and get it running a bit more, and it's worth putting psensor on, which I'll already have, because this is my KDE Plasma build in here. It's the one that I used in my last video, but I've installed KDE Plasmamobile on it, which is super simple to do, and I'll show how to do that at the end of the video. So psensor is here. Actually, the other way you can launch it is, so if I close that down, when you're on this screen, just drag down from the middle and you get a search, and then you do get a keyboard. So the keyboard is, for me, a bit erratic. It doesn't come up every time I want it to come up. And I've tried it with and without a keyboard plugged in, so I know it's not that, but maybe I need to play around with the settings a bit more. Psensor, and as you can see, that's all running, and it was going to snap to the half side then when it came out with that big rectangle. But at the moment, the fan hasn't been on. The temperature is still only 50 degrees. So let's get installing things. Well, let's not close that down. Let's just do that and go to the Discover store and put a game on it. So if I type in here, so that works as well with the touch, Dolphin, and return. I'm off to the side a bit, so it's a bit awkward to use, but it's absolutely fine when you're holding it in your hands. So Dolphin emulator, which is GameCube and Wii. See, there's another time where it doesn't come up with a keyboard, so now I'm going to have to use the keyboard, my little keyboard, which I've got next to it, and just press OK on that to accept that, and that will download. You can see it's working fine on the Wi-Fi. So I need a game. I've got a game on this little 128 gig SD card in a little USB adapter. And these are really low power adapters. This was the only one I could get to work on USB as storage on an iPad with Lightning. So I often use them just because they're super low power, lower power than a normal USB stick. So let's pop that into USB 3 on the side. And let's have a look. I found that PC Man was a bit weird on touch, but Dolphin, which I guess KDE Plasma installed, was much better. So now I can see my USB stick is here. I can go into my RetroPie folder and my ROMs folder and my GameCube folder and find Dave Mirror. I think if I press and hold, yeah, so oh, it's got copy here. Oh, so we get these touch options down the bottom here. Look, cut, copy, rename, move to waste bin and so on. So if I do copy, go to my downloads folder, I'm obviously new to this and I haven't read through things, but I like to try things and see how intuitive they are. So did it copy it properly? Let's go back. And I probably could try dragging it as well. So if I go into ROMs and GameCube, and where's it gone? Dave Mirror. Let's try and drag it. No, it doesn't want me to drag it. Oh, it does now. Can I drag it to my downloads folder? Copy here. Just takes a bit of getting used to. But I do like all this drop down stuff that's come up here. I hadn't noticed that before. So that's copy in the background. Let's go back to the desktop and have a look what else. It didn't seem to install many separate apps. I mean, you see KDE Mobile on mobile phones and it does look different to this. But I am really pleased with how this is working. So let's go back to the browser and show a bit of video. So let's go to YouTube and hopefully this will give me my 4K video. It's only a 1280 by 800 display, so it's not going to be in 4K, but we'll see that it's playing alright and you can hear the audio is working as well. If we turn on Stats for Nerds, so 1080, and where is Stats for Nerds? Is it here? Maybe I right click. Oh, okay, yeah, definitely still getting used to it. Okay, I'll just leave it playing. And let's leave it playing for a little bit and see if we can get that fan to come on. Bearing in mind it's copying that file over at the same time as well. And in fact, is psensor still there? So if I do this, I get this menu up. I can switch through the open apps as you can see. So the file manager, discover store, there's psensor. So I can see the temperature got up to 58 degrees is the highest it's been to, 59 degrees at the moment. Oh, the fan is running. Okay, I can't hear the fan. Let's put the microphone near to the tablet. In fact, let's change the audio as well. So if I do sound, and then you can do this drop down menu here and lower that all the way. I'll have to put that back up in a minute for the video. So now the fan is running, or when it's getting faster, 4,500. Let's get it near to, I don't know where the vents are on this. So this, if I put it here, see if you can hear the fan. Yeah, I can just about hear it, but I have to be quiet. Yeah, that's actually, I'm really pleased with that. Right, so let's have a look at the Dolphin emulator. Oh, I'm going to need a controller. I can eject the USB stick because I don't need other things taking power from it. So let's eject that and pull that out. I'm going to use my Xbox 360 controller, but obviously the logical thing to use would be Bluetooth. But because I can just plug this in and it will work straight away, it's just an easier way of doing it for me. It's just a brilliant controller to use if you're using multiple operating systems. Right, so let's go into all apps, so this one, and then launch Dolphin. I might need to configure the controller. So controllers, standard controller, configure. I need to tell it that I've got my Xbox, there we go. And let's just configure it all. So A, B, X, you get the picture. I'll skip through this bit. Right, I think that's the last one. So let's close that. And open a game. So where did I put it? In my downloads folder, Dave Mirror. And we're in. Oh, I've got the audio off as well. So put that sound back on. I find that if you just touch on here, it doesn't seem to work. You have to open this drop down menu. There we go, and full screen. So we have GameCube on the move. All of that seems to be working fine. We could do the same with PS2 as well. Oh, it's a bit slow. I wonder why that's running a bit slow. It doesn't run, oh, maybe it's Have I got resolution or anything not set properly? Yeah, it's a lot slow. But I know the Pi 5 can run this faster. Well, it's quite nice in slow motion. It's quite cool. Let's try and land in a front nose. Oh no, nearly. So let's try and change some settings on this. So let's close that one. Oh, so the keyboard shows up here. I wonder if I can always do that. So there's a little tiny keyboard icon at the top here. So maybe I just missed that before. Right, so let's stop the current emulation. Let's go back a bit and graphics. Here we go. So we can change to Vulkan, which is usually better. Oh. I'm definitely missing buttons. This has a feel of using Windows on a tablet, which I never think kind of gels well. If you're used to an iPad or you're used to an Android device, then yeah, it's not as good. But then you've got the full desktop experience, the full file manager, the full browser experience as well. All of that sort of stuff makes a big difference. Right, so Dave Mirror is still running. Where is it running? I can hear it, but it's not on any of these tabs. Oh, I did close emulation. Why is running? Oh, it must be a video. Hold up, something's happened. Okay, not sure what happened then. Okay, so it closed down all the apps. All right, that's probably not a bad thing because, yeah, I was trying to run the Dolphin emulator with a video running in the background with other apps open. But let's just try this. Open Dave Mirror and open and full screen. Come on, Vulkan. Let's see what you can do. Okay, that's better. It's definitely not stuttering as much. I'm going to turn off the music because I should have done that probably before. Music volume. And back and continue. Now we're talking. Okay, so it's just because I didn't have Vulkan enabled. I was trying to do too many things at the same time. But yeah, that is excellent to have this properly portable GameCube emulation. And obviously we've got PS2 as well that we can enable on this, and Wii. Yeah, I'm super, super impressed with that. And now I just want to play Dave Mirror. Even on this screen, actually 10 inches is fine for this game. It's working really well. Oh, and you do get these errors. This is not a thing to do with this. This is the Dolphin emulator on Linux. Anyway, let's close this down. Close down this one. And have a look. Oh, terminate Dolphin. Okay. It has been stable for me. I've been playing around with it and it has been stable. I'm obviously trying to mess around, trying to keep the video fairly consistent, not trying to cut out too much. But let's try that second HDMI socket. And does it tell me the battery life? So it says battery 0%, but that's not right. Now, if I unplug my controller, because that's obviously going to be draining a little bit from the battery, Bluetooth wouldn't be in the same way. Oh, my battery is still showing full 3 lights, so we are all right at the moment. But yeah, what I think I'll do is, one thing I didn't show, which is worth showing, on the screen menu, you can change the orientation very easily. Now, the Raspad 3 has got a little accelerometer, which is a USB device, which I never bothered to plug in. But I don't know, well, I guess the operating system could be adapted to use it. I just haven't really used it very much. So, and I don't actually know where it is. I think it's probably in the box in my loft. So settings and display. And then on here, we have different orientations. So if I want to go to a vertical screen, then I can, as simple as that. And then just say keep that. And all of this works in the same way as it did. So again, I can swipe away. I've got this same desktop. I've got my, you can see all the applications show up when it's in vertical mode. Oh, and I've also got VLC on here, and I did have a video in my video folder. I've got more options here. Open with VLC. So like press and hold for a right click. Is VLC open? Oh, it is, look. I'll put it back for the video. Let's put it back in that different screen mode. Settings. display configuration, and it was this one that it defaults to, and we'll do keep on that. I like the way the touchscreen adapts to it. Some things I've had before, when you switch between portrait and landscape, the touchscreen it doesn't match it, so it appears in the wrong space. So go back to VLC. Let's go back to the folder again. There we go, and then just tap that once. No, press and hold it. Open with VLC. Funny how it doesn't replace the screen with VLC, and there you can see that's playing a 1080 GoPro video. And what I'm going to do as well is I'm going to flip the screen, because what I want it to be is that it's got a thin edge. Well, we call it a thin edge, and it's got a thick edge. That's why I call the other one a thin edge. And if I want to stand it up, obviously that means that the screen is upside down. If I had an accelerometer, I guess it may adapt to it, but let's try this. So settings, display, and this one must flip it over 180 and then keep. And then I can do this. There you go. And obviously that it's pretty stable as well. I mean, it's not as ideal when you're using touchscreen mode on this, but overall it's pretty stable. And obviously we can introduce the keyboard and mouse and use all of the functionality on that as well. So something like Dolphin is going to be a lot better when you've got a right click rather than just using it with touch. Okay, so let's try dual screen. So I've got an HDMI cable here connected to the monitor, full size HDMI the Raspad has, and you can see it comes up with a symbol momentarily to say you can't use touchscreen when you're using dual screen. So the display configuration here, I can tell it where my monitor is. So if I drag this around and really down to here, just to kind of say that it's in that mode, hit keep, and now I should be able to go, yeah, and I'm on this second monitor, not sure what's on. Oh, well, there you go. This screen is showing this, but I can't actually control the separate part of the screen. I can obviously touch the app and I can do things with that, but let's go back to here and close that app down. Yeah, it is a bit weird with dual screen. It will take a bit of getting used to. Let's launch, say, Raspberry Pi Imager. You can see again it's gone to this screen now, and Raspberry Pi Images come up. Can I drag it? I can drag it to the second screen. That's quite cool. And then PC Manager. Actually, that was the bad file manager for this, although it's my preferred one normally in KDE Plasma. Oh, and you can see what it's done here. It's saying, well, this is the app that's open on that screen. So it's a bit odd. There's probably ways of changing this, but probably the most logical way of changing this would be just to switch operating systems. So if I drag down from the top, weirdly I'm doing it on this screen and it comes up on this screen, and go to shutdown and then log out, because when I log out it gives me the option, and weirdly this one's upside down, of changing the session. So I don't know if you can see that. Oh, something weird happened when I moved the HDMI. Down the bottom here it says desktop session. If I click on that, I can switch between different modes. So let's go with Plasma Wayland, which is the one I normally use. And let's type in KDE, and I would imagine it'll give me better dual screen support. It will work differently. So yeah, I've got my second desktop here, and that's just a plain desktop. If I go or start typing display configuration comes up, and we can do enabled and primary, so we can change between the two. So at the moment the primary display is my 1080 display, not this one. But now I should find that launching apps works like a proper desktop. So if I launch Imager again and drag it down to this screen, that works. Not sure why that screen went black. If I then launch, let's just go with Dolphin Emulator. then that comes up on that screen, and I can again drag it down. Yeah, so that's working as a true desktop, true dual desktop. You just have to change it to the ordinary KDE Plasma mode, not the Plasma-mobile mode. So if I launch the web browser, that comes up on the main screen, but I also still have the ability to use this tablet as a second screen. Yeah, I'm happy enough with that. Right, let's show you, let's show you why I've got this little monitor down here first of all. So this is a 5-inch screen from Big Tree Tech. I've had it a while now, and as you can see, it's touchscreen, but I can't get the newest version of Raspberry Pi OS or my version of KDE, so both of them are running on Wayland, to work on this screen. I apply the patch as you normally do from the website, but I just can't get it to work with the screen. So I've got Bullseye on here at the moment, and Bullseye is working. It's on this little Compute Module 4 on the little eMMC drive in there, and it is a great little device. And I've tried to install KDE Plasma Mobile into Bullseye, but it seems to need Wayland, so it seems to need the newest update. There might be a workaround it. I did try for quite some time, I couldn't get it to work, but that's the reason I've got this set up on my desk, because I wanted to explain why I'm not using that, because I can't get it to work with KDE Plasma Mobile, which is a shame because I think it would be really cool on that screen. So let's go into screen capture, and I'll show you how to install KDE Plasma Mobile into the latest version of Bookworm. So just to recap on what I had success with, if I open up Imager, it definitely works with 64-bit Raspberry Pi OS. Doesn't work with any version on Bullseye, so the legacy versions I couldn't get it to work. But I did also get it to work with the Lite version. So Raspberry Pi OS Lite 64-bit, I did get it to work with that, although I'd say it wasn't as easy. So this is an operating system that doesn't give you any desktop environment, and then you would install KDE Plasma Mobile, but then it doesn't launch because it doesn't seem to have a decent login screen. So you have to launch it from terminal, and it was something like Start KDE Plasma Session or something like that you had to put into terminal. I can't remember because I deleted that OS because it wasn't as easy. If you start off with Raspberry Pi OS 64-bit, the non-Lite version, so the recommended version for Pi 5, or you start with my version of KDE Plasma, which is what I'm using here, then all you have to do is open a terminal and type in sudo apt install plasma-mobile. And you'll see that mine's already installed. Once you've installed it, you need to reboot. And then when you reboot, it will be in the, so if I just log out, in the launch screen here, so you can see Plasma Mobile is there. Just click on that, put your password in, and that will launch. And you can also go back into Raspberry Pi Desktop and things like that from here. But that is it. It's as simple as that to install. It just doesn't work with every operating system. And I didn't show the WiMAXIC screen that I showed in my shorts video about KDE Plasma Mobile because, well, the video is already about half an hour long. It works very well with that touchscreen display as well because that's just USB and HDMI connected. So yeah, it worked really well on that as a tablet as well. Okay, so I hope all this helps. Thanks very much for watching. Please like and subscribe.